Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Not much has changed on the Bitcoin chart since our last video. My current view is still that Bitcoin hasn't shown us enough to consider more strongly a bullish scenario, an overall bullish scenario. I will not rule it out, absolutely not. In fact, the original view that we had here from the June low, remember when we made videos in that entire period here, it was looking at least not too bad for Bitcoin, and things were looking interesting as a wave 1 here, then here the wave 2, and then here possibly a wave 3, but we broke down. So we broke down a little bit too deep, so it made overall the bullish breakout scenario less likely, because we dropped below a very important level. Let's just draw that again. We can draw the Fibonacci levels, and you can see we broke a few times below the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level. I need to adjust that slightly. It even shows even more how we broke below that, and even briefly broke below the 88.7% Fib level. That is not good in a wave 1-2 formation. It is still possible, and the original scenario that the low could be in has never been invalidated, really. It's just, let's say, if I compare Bitcoin at the moment to some of the really good charts out there, Matic, Quant, Ethereum, Aave, Bitcoin is a bit of a mess, and therefore it is still for me in the category of coins that are not clearly in a breakout pattern. So, I can't confirm really that Bitcoin has yet bottomed. It is possible in various, there are various possibilities how this can be counted and how Bitcoin could have already bottomed. But for me, if a coin, and I think that's a very sensible approach, if a coin has a messy chart and is it still looking like it's looking for another low, then what I want to see, I want the chart to prove that it actually isn't a breakout pattern, and there are key levels that need to be broken and that need to be held in order to prove that, or at least to indicate more strongly that a chart has bottomed. And then, then it's worth really considering that in detail. Until then, my view is always the chart has to prove it, and I would rather look at some of the other money makers that we have in the market at the moment that are really helping us a lot and are really generating some profits at the moment, because they're following very nicely the assumptions and they were following very nicely the wave count. Bitcoin is following the wave count as well. It's just a bit more messy, and we are very close to a key pivot point. So I'm going to zoom in a minute. Here, Bitcoin from a high level point of view, my view is that the low from June to the upside here around 25k was just a corrective wave. Of course, it could have been a wave 1, therefore I've got the bullish count here as well as a wave 1, and then the wave 2 down and the wave 3 up, 4 down, 5 up. That's all possible, but again, we need to break above certain key levels to make that more likely and to prove that we are on a breakout pattern. 2 levels for me are very important here. The first level is the 21.7k level. Bitcoin is at the moment constrained below that level, and as long as we are below that level, my view is that we are in some sort of a bearish overall context of the chart. But if we get above 21.7k, things might be changing, and that would unlock prices all the way up to 25k. And if we can then go up to 25k and break it, that would unlock prices to 30k in this third wave, and that would be the highest price that we've had since June. And then I would consider much more strongly anyway the bullish pattern as soon as we break above 21.7k. That's for me the earliest where I could make the bullish count the primary. But at the moment it's still this one, a corrective wave to the upside, then here this fifth wave to the downside, and in this fifth wave in which we currently are, we've got 3 waves, A, B, C, and in the we are now in the C wave. The C wave is a 5-wave move. Wave 1 down, already done. Wave 2 to the upside, nearly done, I would say, and then 3 down, 4 up, 5 down. And that would make a new low, and that could get into the region between 14 to 16k. Over the last few days, I had a few questions from people about, what happened to my sort of prediction of Bitcoin making a new low. And I always answer 2 things. So first of all, I don't like the term prediction. It is not really what I do. I don't predict the future here. I don't make definite statements, because that is what a prediction is. You can't make that in financial markets. People who do that, be very careful following them. You can't make predictions. What you want to do, you want to understand the possibilities, and then you know, define your trading and investing strategy based on those possibilities. Because let's be honest, at any point in time, there are basically theoretically infinite possibilities. The question is just how likely is it, you know? I mean, Bitcoin could go to 100K tomorrow. How likely is it? Yeah, it's basically very, very unlikely. Bitcoin could drop to 0, you know, how likely is it? Not very likely. So there are always, you know, infinite possibilities. So the chart could do what it wants, really. But what we as analysts do is obviously I think the skill and also the key value comes from identifying the 2 or 3 key scenarios that could occur. Yeah, and not to make definite statements or predictions. Of course, there is a predictive element here because I give you price targets based on what I think the price is going, based on the wave count, the Fibonacci levels, and so on. So there is to a degree a predictive statement, but or a predictive element, but I'm not telling you for sure that the price is going to go down there. What we want to understand is the key threshold points, the pivot points, the decision points, and if those decision points show us something unlikely, or if the chart chooses in that decision point the path for further upside, it is very valuable to know that if we get above 21.7K and we hold that level, that the chart context has flipped at least medium-term bullish. I think that's a very, very valuable thing to know, and that we do not then primarily expect another wave 3 to the downside. So these are the things that, you know, you need to consider when you put your strategy up, because it is not as simple as up or down. That will set up many people for failure. So in the very short term here, Bitcoin has actually followed nicely the overall wave count. Yeah, we had 2 long areas here and here. I think Ethereum works out a little bit better at the moment because the overall scenario is a bit clearer. For Ethereum, I am clearly bullish. Also here, there are, let's call it a couple of scenarios. One is bullish and one is a bit less bullish. So, but this time will come for Bitcoin as well. At the moment, we have a bullish and a bearish scenario here. But I told you, as soon as we get above, let's say 25K or maybe 30K, there will only be bullish scenarios for Bitcoin. Yeah. And again, there will be one bullish and one more bullish one. At the moment, it is just what it is because Bitcoin's chart is a mess. But the good news is Bitcoin, even though it's a bit messy, yeah, and even here choppy Bitcoin, did hold really well when the stock market was really suffering last week. Yeah, this week. So that's good. Yeah, good actually. So for Bitcoin, ideally, I would still like to see a little bit of an extension of this 5-wave move to the upside. Yeah, this at the moment can be counted as a 5-wave move already. So theoretically, this 5th wave could be in. But the move down is currently looking quite corrective, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another leg up here. That would actually be ideal into the region of around, well, we already came to around 21.5K, which was very close to my 21.7K target, but I'd like to see a little bit higher. Yeah, it would be in line with what I expect for Ethereum as well, as long as Ethereum is holding $1,600. What is very important at any time now is that Bitcoin is holding the 78.6% retrace at 20,343. If it doesn't do that, it will probably fall back to around 19,850 and has another chance to do a rally from here. Yeah, because what we have at the moment, this this move, yeah, or it could just be an A overshooting with B and a C down, and then we could do another rally. That's possible. Yeah, even though I count this as 5 waves, it's not as clear as, for example, Ethereum. Bitcoin continues to be choppy. So I think what is most important to understand is the key pivot points, support levels, resistance levels here at the moment. And I wouldn't trade Bitcoin at the moment because there are other charts that are much more likely and much more reliable. But what you can see here at the moment is Bitcoin putting potentially another wave 5 of C of 2 in, where we then have that decision point that I mentioned, right? I actually need to move it a bit lower because if we break into the 23K range, then we already have a bullish context. So the point is now, if we push any higher from here, the 21.7K level will be the constraint. If we push above that, the chart context may flip bullish, and then we can look more at the bullish scenario in the next few weeks. If we push up a little bit higher, yeah, that would be perfectly in line with this scenario. Push a little bit higher, maybe have an extended 5th, not a problem. I think that is actually quite likely because this move down is currently very corrective, which means another push to the upside is possible. And after that, we could have completed this 5 of C of 5 of 2. No, different. It doesn't matter. This wave 5 of C of 2, yeah, would then be finished, and that will then the retracement then, which should be quite deep, that will show us if this scenario here of another low is actually what's going to play out. It all depends on how low do we actually go then, right? Because if we hold then, let's say we put another high in, maybe to 21.7k, and then we come down, then I would consider this a larger move to the upside as finished. From here, that started down here at around here 13th of October. And it's very important then to hold the 78.6 retrace generally, because then this would make the bullish count more likely. You know, I've got the white bullish count on the chart here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can't rule this one out. Of course, that's why it's on the chart, right, as possibility. And this count in white would actually be the same one as the Bitcoin count, so the Ethereum count. So if we, let's say we push to the upside here in an actual impulse, yeah, like Ethereum, and we are coming down then in a wave 2. So this would then be counted as a wave 1 of 3. We would be coming down in a wave 2 of 3, but for that we need to hold the 18,950 level based on an assumption that we move up to 21.7k. So I will be able to give you a clearer target once we've clearly topped. So this is the next larger entry point for Bitcoin, and it will determine there if we're holding key support in a wave 2 and have a chance to be in the white wave count. But if we break through it, especially impulsively, then my count here on the chart will probably work out. Yeah, so really the next retracement doesn't really matter how high we push here. Even if we push into a, let's say, greater bullish context, the next retracement will tell us everything. It will tell us how Bitcoin is going to move in the next few weeks or months, because if this level is holding the 78.6% retrace, that is when Bitcoin can push further to the upside. It's always that level here, because while I have on the chart here Bitcoin looking for another low, of course we could be in a bullish context already, yeah, even though it's not very likely, and therefore it's always important to wait for an impulse to the upside. To be honest, we have that already. All I'm doing here at the moment is just counting it as a C wave highlighted in yellow here, yeah, but it is an impulse. And if the overall assumption here was wrong, which I acknowledge could be, that's why I've got the we've got the wave 3 here on the chart as a bullish count, right? If this was wrong, and we indeed are in the third wave to the upside already, then it's the next retracement that will tell us everything. If we hold that level, it would be a confirmation that indeed we are in a bullish context already, even if we didn't push into 21.7k here. So yeah, I think in summary, it's really the next retracement that will tell us a lot. Yes, short-term upside still possible here. In fact, actually short-term upside still primary expectation, because the move down is currently very corrective. Signal for a breakout would of course be a breakout above this sort of ascending trend line, plus breakout above the wave 3 high, or yeah, wave 3 high, which I could also call, no, sorry, it's not the wave 3 high, above this high here, which is 21,460. That would be a breakout signal to the upside, and then we've got resistance at around 21.7k. Okay, and that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.